All right. Welcome back. Sound on Sports. Fatty, very close to the camera. Boys, we're back. Seahawks are the best team in the world. Fatty, we'll go to you, hyping the crowd up. How are you feeling day after the game?
I feel great. I think that this was a really non-stressful game. I think we played it up a lot. But yeah, honestly, I wasn't stressed. Maybe actually at one point when we didn't get that first touchdown on our first drive. But what a dominant win for the Seahawks. And it really closed a great regular season, the best of all time in Seahawks history. First time that they've won 14 games in a season. A lot of people say, oh, it's just because they're playing an extra game, but it is still pretty hard to get to 14 wins in the NFL. Only two teams did it this year, or I guess three if you count the Patriots. But yeah, I mean, just a season in retrospect. I mean, Sam Darnold came in, and he's one of two quarterbacks in NFL history to win 14 games in back-to-back years, that only being Tom Brady, his counterpart. So really shout out him. He had a couple games where, we did question his performance, but he was able to manage the offense very well. Kenneth Walker, an 1,000-yard rusher, despite, and he really kept healthy all year. So that was something that was awesome, especially going into a contract year for him. Zach Charbonnet setting the Seahawks franchise record for most rushing touchdowns in a season. So shout out him. That was with 14 or 15. Jackson Smith-Njigba obviously leading the NFL in receiving yards. Huge task for him to be the new wide receiver one with no Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf. And then I guess where do you even begin with the defense? 26 games in a row, not allowing a 100-yard rusher. Just absolutely amazing stuff there. Best point differential in the NFL. And these guys are rolling. The first round bye is going to be huge. We're going to have to face a divisional opponent likely, unless, albeit the Packers can pull off an upset, which I guess they could. We can talk about it a little bit later. But Mike McDonald led this team to one of the more memorable regular seasons in Seahawks history. So I'm really happy for the guys and really excited for the playoffs.
Yeah, and you would have thought going into this game, right, this team's averaging 35, 36 points, the Niners offense, against their last 6 opponents. And it's just like, for me, there was 2 times where I actually felt nervous. Once was obviously right before the game, pregame jitters, we all got them. And then once I saw that we could actually run the ball all day, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Our offense looks good. We don't have to worry about that. And then I was nervous when they started their first drive, and then you could just see the difference in just speed and aggression and just play strength. It was just, as soon as their first drive ended, you just kind of knew, yeah, this is our game. If we lose the game, it would obviously be our own errors, but we're just completely outmatching this team. Like, it's not even close. The guys that should have scared us, Christian McCaffrey, not that great of a football player anymore. And I know that's gonna be like, whoa, Christian McCaffrey, he had 2,000 total yards. Just doesn't look very good out there. I'm sorry, man. Like, he doesn't look good on the ground.
McCaffrey and Kittle both look hurt. Like, they both look like they're in
Kittle,
genuine pain.
I was gonna give that excuse to Kittle. Kittle's obviously.
But I think McCaffrey's in the same boat where McCaffrey's been hurt. You can see it too.
But everybody's banged up, though. Everyone's
exactly.
Not everyone's actually healthy. McCaffrey, of course, everyone's banged up. He wasn't Kittle to me was different. He came into the game with an actual injury that kept him straight up out of the game. And he missed a game following that. But just in general, McCaffrey just doesn't look scary anymore. None of the receivers are that great. It was barbecue chicken. It was barbecue chicken. And you just knew it was going to be like that the entire game after the first drive. Seahawks took care of business. The only thing that bothers me from this game is just some of the decision-making from not only Clint Kubiak. If you're first and goal on the 1, you basically ran the ball to get to that point. And then all of a sudden you just don't run it. That was frustrating. And then
it doesn't make sense too, because when have the Seahawks not ran it on the 1-yard line? You know what I mean? When have we not ran it on the 1-yard line?
Yeah, of course. I can't think of a single time in history where we haven't ran the ball, and especially when you have good running backs in the backfield,
I heard a 49er fan say, let's win the wild card and show the Seahawks what we can do with a healthy defense. And I'm like, healthy offense. And I'm like, what healthy? We didn't have Charles Cross. They didn't have Trent Williams. So that canceled each other out. we didn't have Torrey Horton. They didn't have Shiver Me Timbers, Ricky Parasol. So what exactly is a healthy defense or offense for them? Defense, I get with Nick Bosa being out and Fred Warner being the captain of that defense. But other than that, DeMaurier Lenore, or however you say his name, talks so much shit, all to be exposed on national television. It was just pathetic. I mean, the 49ers.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that real quick?
As a 49er fan, we can. But as a 49er fan, I could, if I was a 49er fan. If I was a 49er fan, I'm thinking, I was talking to Brody and I said, could you imagine how just frustrating this game was? This game was in hand the entire time. All they needed to do was be consistent and execute, and they just could not on all facets of the ball. But yes, Brody, go on about our favorite DeMaurier Lenore. Or how are we say his name?
As a lifelong 49ers fan, I can confidently say we will not do shit in the playoffs. And that doesn't matter who we have in our team, doesn't matter who's healthy. As a lifelong Niners fan, we are fucked. Anyways, Deommodore Lenore, you'll see the only thing the Niners fandom are parading is, Lenore led up 0 catches to JSN. I'm like, okay, first of all, they'll put up the stat that says 31 coverage snaps, no catches. First of all, how many of those I watched the whole game back. There was 2 actual routes that I saw, actual routes ran where it was man on man, Lenore versus JSN, which first of all, you asked your coach publicly, put me on JSN man to man all game. And your coach said, fuck that. Nah. That's never happening. So already that tells you your coach thinks you're kind of a bum, essentially. You locked up Jake Bobo the entire game. Congratulations, buddy. But anyways,
put some respect on Bobo's name though. Don't be mean to Bobo. Yeah. That was kind of rude.
Right. That's not what he was intending to do.
Not my intentions. But there's 2 routes. One was a little flat route where it was a flat curl concept. We're thinking it's zone, it's man. Cool. You locked up a flat route, dude. Someone in a wheelchair could do that. It's not hard. Then the only other real route, JSN shakes him off the line of scrimmage, and he doesn't even attempt to match his route or cover him. He just holds him, grabs onto him for dear life, and it's a DPI in the end zone, which should have led to 7 points. Obviously, we did not run the football. Very uncharacteristic from the Seahawks on the lawn to not run the football.
Yeah, weird.
And I think the score too says a different story if you go back and look at this one. I mean, 13-3, you think it's going to be a defensive slugfest, but in reality, Jason Myers missing 2 field goals, uncharacteristic of him. You spot 6 points, and at the 1 yard line, failing to capitalize. So I hate to play hypotheticals, but we really had another 13 points on the board there. So it would have been 26. We can go ahead and spot, San Fran, that unlucky pick that Brock Purdy threw, and you can give them 26-10. So maybe that would look like a more dominant win. But I'll say this before we kind of shift toward looking forward with the Seahawks and reflecting on the season. We had more yards rushing than they had total yards. So that has to say, I know the NFL is so offensive minded. This is the most dominant football on the defensive side that we've seen in the last probably 5 or 6 years. I mean, this is absolutely insane.
Props in the last 12 years.
Props to the dark side. Edit the Reddit guy. The Reddit guy where he's like, yeah, I'll show you.
The dark side.
The dark side.
Yeah.
No, honestly, the only time for me that I was nervous this whole game was literally I told Brody at halftime when I had time to overthink to myself, because going to half and it was 10-7, I'm like, oh, this feels like Niners might come out and be good at football miraculously, and how stupid of me to think that, because they came out and they were still just 16 tiers below us on every asset of the game, wrong words there, but you know what I'm trying to say. Nonetheless, that was just complete BTA the whole game,
for sure.
We looked completely dominant. And I think I was more scared than you guys, because I think I convinced myself their offense was better than it was after watching that Sunday Night Football game against the Bears. But I forgot to factor in the fact that they were playing the Bears, which is kind of an important detail, because it's pretty easy to put points up on a team that has no pass rush and their only defensive stat is that they get lucky picks all the time. And the Seahawks are a little bit better than that, and that was proven today. And so
yeah, I mean, that's not saying, though, that I wouldn't want to. I mean, the fact of the matter is Seahawks are the number 1 seed, and the Rams fell into the 5th seed, and the Niners, by transitive property, are in the 6th seed. That's not – we're going to have to play one of them again. I mean, let's just say the Niners don't crash and burn. They win a hard-fought game against Philly. I'm not excited to play them again. I'm not excited to play either
If
of them
that happens,
again.
I don't think that's.
I'm
I don't
very
think
excited. I'm very excited to play the Niners again.
I don't think the Niners, seeing the Niners again, especially after a hardened-fought hypothetical win against Philly, I wouldn't necessarily love to see them. But that being said, I mean, flash me back to the last episode we recorded. I'm not excited to see anybody in the playoffs, but I'm very confident with the way the Seahawks played today that we have a strong chance of making the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think
don't know.
For me, the Niners would be like outside of maybe, of course, like the Panthers, but let's like be real. They're not.
Yeah, we glazed the Panthers and they made it hard for us. We really did. We're like,
Dude,
man, we're so good.
We tried.
We're so good.
Tried.
And then they lost.
They were okay. To be fair, though,
so
they're clearly worse than us, and they lost versus the Bucks plus the refs. Not everyone can win when the refs are going against them because that game, the Panthers, the stripes were all against them all game. But yeah, that was a rough look for
really
us.
Bad.
Yeah,
but on the bright side, hey, at least Fatty's takes still stand. The Panthers still made the playoffs, so it's fine.
That's true.
We don't have to delete.
We're all glazing them though. We're like, hey, the Panthers, and then that was terrible.
Yeah, but outside the Panthers, dude, I honestly think it's the Bears and then the Niners. For me personally, I there's nothing to me from that game. I guess the only thing you could say really is Fred Warner could potentially come back. That's really the only thing. But obviously, dude hasn't played football in a very long time. I think the game goes similar, if not even worse, if we match up against them at home in the playoffs. But that's just me personally.
Yeah. I think if they would have somehow pulled off this win, like the Niners coming off a bye, if Kittle and McCaffrey were to be healthy, it could be a whole different game. But there's no way they get out of that Eagles game without having to put up a fight. And I don't see dude, Kittle. It was some point in the fourth quarter. I don't remember. They're just watching a replay, like the view behind the quarterback. And it was Kittle just running like an out. And he just looked like an old man.
He was playing hurt. He was playing hurt.
Dude, he's not gonna heal up. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
But AJ Barner's playing hurt. Kenneth Walker's playing hurt. We didn't have Charles Cross, so it's like everybody's playing hurt at this
It's the NFL, man. If you're in the NFL and you've played, 15, 16, 17 games and you're like not banged up, then you're on the bench and
exactly.
like not playing.
Are we gonna have to start load managing in the NFL?
If they keep adding games,
serious. That's not even a joke.
They keep adding games.
I mean, running backs have to do it all the time, dude. I mean, we literally load managed Kenneth Walker. Why do you think it took so long for him to get 1,000 yards, man? He just cracked 200 carries like a game or two ago. So like,
running back by committee might be the way. That might be the alternative.
That might be the meta. But I mean, shifting gears a little bit to kind of looking forward to this or beyond the Seahawks dominant win. Coach of the year, offensive player of the year. We might be a little bit biased, but I think this is kind of locked up. I think it has to go to Mike McDonald and JSN.
Me and Brody were talking. Dude, I think it'll. I'm obviously biased and want McDonald to win, but I do think Vrabel's going to get it for Coach of the Year. I think they'll give it to Vrabel. Just when we were saying before, in terms of, I feel like Coach of the Year is so big on taking a bad team and making it good. Like that's how Stefanski's won too. It's like, that's so much about, they just look at the records year over year. McDonald took over a 9-8 team. We got 10 wins last year. Vrabel walked into like a team with 3 wins last year and took them to a team that winning 14 games. And I just
they also had a lot of cap space and were able to improve their team. And they did have Drake May. I mean, Drake May MVP. If not,
to me, that's what it should be. It should be Drake May should be the MVP, and then I think Coach of the Year shouldn't be Mike Vrabel, in my opinion.
Then again, Mike Vrabel had to fight off the
plays. By the way, does he call plays for the Patriots?
I don't. That not offensive, but I know that potentially defensive.
Because to be fair, I feel like that should make it like if he doesn't call plays, I feel like the fact McDonald has achieved what he's achieved and calls plays for the NFL's best defense to me, like, and you look at the schedules. I mean, my goodness. I mean, the Seahawks have the most wins against playoff teams in the NFL.
Yeah,
and then we won the hardest division in the league.
He does not play call. Sorry, he does not.
No, that's big to it too.
So important. Play calling the whole fucking game and also trying to coach at the same. Like it is harder.
100. Also, how many
Wow.
pending charges do the Seahawks have right now? 0. The Patriots have 2. Coaches definitely impact those type of things. So that's
That
got
is
to be
true.
McDonald.
Yeah, he lost the locker room. It's definitely not on Stephon Diggs. Definitely not.
No.
Definitely not. That
We-
yeah, that's just bad coaching.
He's a
Apparently,
great guy. He's a great guy.
All right.
another
I don't
another
know about that.
another interesting thing about the Seahawks. Just recently tonight, they've extended left tackle Charles Cross to a great deal, 4 years, $104 million, keeping our top 10 pick in Seattle. Just that was the number one glaring thing in the offseason. John Schneider tossed on the Old Spice after the game and got it done. So that is a huge win for Seattle, in my opinion. We have 3 out of the 5 of our line locked up for the next 4 years with Abe Lucas, Charles Cross, and Gray Zabel. Just absolutely flawless work from John Schneider there.
Also, real quick, I don't want this to be a huge topic, but I think Executive of the Year is a real award, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you lose your starting quarterback, you lose your wide receiver one, quote unquote.
Well, I think
wait,
time out. I don't think you should even phrase it as lose your quarterback one. We moved on from our QB one, and it proved to be the right call.
Yeah, but at the time, right? At the time,
that took guts from John Schneider.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
I
yes,
don't think you can say lose. I think you have to factor in the fact that Geno ended up being trash,
No,
and it was clearly a good move by him.
No, my whole point is that at the time the narrative was Geno Smith, you move on from Geno and get Sam. You're kind of, a lot of people were saying that's a downgrade, and at the very most it's an even thing. And then you lose DK Metcalf. 2 moves that were by the way, he wasn't planning those things. Those were 2 things that just came up. Geno requested a trade, DK requested a trade. He's like, what the fuck? Okay, cool. I mean, Kubiak's literally, when we brought Kubiak in, he's literally saying, I'm so excited to work with Geno and DK, and then they're just gone. So the fact that those happened just impromptu moves, then he makes the moves that he makes, all to create this absolute just juggernaut of a team. I'm just saying he's got a good case. It could be a Seahawks sweep with the awards here. Just saying, man.
Online, it says he's favorite right now, and I mean, how do you not, right? The more I think about it, I feel like he's kind of locked up where it'd be kind of crazy to say that it's anyone else.
Yeah, but just more on the Charles Cross move. I mean, obviously it's not like Charles Cross is a top 2, 3 generational tackle, but I mean, I'm totally fine paying that kind of money just to get stability. I mean, he's a dude who's going to be a top 10, around their tackle year in,
Right.
year out. Even if we have to overpay a little bit, which I don't even think it really is an overpay at this important of a position, I'm totally fine with it. And I'm glad we locked him down for 4 years.
I think it's important too, because I feel like literally our whole lifetime as Seahawks fans, the one thing that we always complain about is the offensive line. It's even during the Russ days, it was me walking around in middle school talking about how bad the O-line was for the Seahawks. And I feel like finally being at a place where we don't have to see everyone complain about that 24/7, invest in it a little bit while you can and, build that up, because that's kind of been the one Achilles heel for this team my entire stretch as a fan. There's a bunch of things I still want to keep talking about the Hawks, because we're going extra long on the Hawks today, because we're talking about is Hawks and Kraken. But one thing about the Seahawks is they've proven that we can win no matter how the game is. And I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this, because the Seahawks this year have proven that even when Darnold gives up multiple turnovers, not even just interceptions, we found a way to win. The Texans, the Steelers, the Carolina game. And that's sort of the one thing everyone's scared about with Sam Darnold, him turning the ball over. And the Hawks have proven that we can still win even when Darnold gets rid of the ball. But on top of that, we proved yesterday that Jason Myers can miss multiple kicks and we'll still win the game.
Well, and that's great. And here's the thing, and I think this is what it boils down to. The Seahawks are a team that finds a way to win, whether the offense is struggling, the defense, there's been rare occasions, but when the defense is struggling, and when special teams has fallen short, which has also been rare. But I think, if you noticed, I don't know how many Seahawks fans watched, but they interviewed Kenneth Walker and they interviewed Zach Charbonnet, and they were both asked what this win meant to Sam Darnold, and they were both very surprised and caught off guard. They're like, what do you mean? It's because we are over the narrative that 100%. Sam Darnold is bad. Sam Darnold might not be great. He might not be a top 5 quarterback in the league, but he is not bad. Okay? It's ridiculous that every time we're on the national stage, can Sam Darnold prove himself? his regular season record speaks for itself. He's won 29 games in 2 seasons as a starter, by the way. Supposed to be a bridge guy for Minnesota. They dump him. We pick him up, and he is in stride and a better quarterback than he was last year outside of Kevin O'Connell's defense. So it's just like this team can win games whether you have to drop 40 points or you can only drop 13. We are a hard-fought team, and we are a threat in the NFL. That's just what people need to shift the narrative. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that narrative should have been – I don't know what more you needed to see after the Rams game. I mean, the defense, like as much as we talk about this elite defense, that defense is getting lit up against the Rams. And, yeah, we did get stops when we needed to, but – that game was on the offense to make something happen, to come back. And Sam Darnold, with flying colors, passed that test, especially in that overtime drive. Just pinpoint perfect on every single throw. Really decisive, reading out the whole field very quickly, not holding on to the ball too long, taking unnecessary sacks. Yeah, Sam Darnold's not perfect. He's going to have his odd, why did you miss that guy? Why'd you miss that read? Why'd you overthrow that ball? Why'd you take that sack? Every fucking quarterback does that, by the way. I don't see a quarterback in the NFL that averages a perfect QBR and passer rating and doesn't turn the ball over. It happens with everybody. Sam Darnold showed you against the Rams, who everybody says this is his kryptonite. The Rams, he just can't get past that hump. Passes it with flying colors, was basically perfect. And then we're still talking about this shit after the Niners game. Like, this was it's not a talking point. It's not a talking point anymore. We already got that monkey off of his back. Why are we still talking about it? Like you said, the players are just like,
and that's what's going to be the narrative through the whole playoffs is can Sam Darnold win a big game? And it's like, we have given the NFL 2 games of the year. I mean, this whole season with maybe 3 or 4 games of the year. And it's just like, it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand why the pressure is all on him for the Seahawks to succeed with the defense that we have and, with the obvious holes we have. I mean, JSN's been great as a wide receiver 1, but outside of that, who's the wide receiver 2? Cooper Kupp has regressed. You have Jake Bobo. You have Rashid Shaheed, who isn't necessarily a crazy WR2 guy. And you have Torrey Horton being hurt. So he's had to make, trash into treasure. I don't want to say trash, but the metaphor. And you have, an inconsistent running back by committee. You don't know with injuries. The offensive line has rotated some injuries with Gray Zabel and Charles Cross and Abe Lucas being out. So it's just like, it's crazy to me that we live and die by Sam Darnold because that's not the way this team is built. This team is built well-rounded, no bad contracts, and people just hate to see it.
Yeah, and just one more point to talk about the players after the game, the running backs. Like, we just churned out like 150 yards and basically won the fucking game by ourselves and scored the only touchdown in the game. And you're asking us about how the fuck Sam Darnold feels. Like, what are we doing right now? And credit to them to being, media trained and professionals. But I'd be like, stop talking. I'd be like, shut the fuck up, please.
Dude, they were confused. Like Patty said, they were legitimate. Dude, did you? Yeah. Kenneth Walker literally goes, how do you feel? Like he looks
Sam, dude. I don't fucking. Who gives a shit? Like, what are we talking about? It's just ridiculous, bro. Then don't interview the running back if you want to know how.
Well, Sam it's feels, because Sam Darnold pushed Lisa Rutledge off. He's like, nah, I don't want to deal with this shit. And props to him. So they had to find Kenneth Walker. Yeah. Crazy interview guy into Kenneth Walker. He's not media trained and doesn't know, but props to him. Maybe we re-sign him. I guess we could talk about the Seahawks off season in a rather lull period, but let's go ahead and shift gears here to the Hawks.
Actually, no. I want to one more thing on the Hawks.
Okay.
We've only gotten a small sample size, but when the Seahawks got their bye this year, do you guys remember what game was right after the bye the following week?
You're going to have to remind me.
It was that, mind you, domination of the Commanders when our offense actually, our offense was humming.
That's
just
true.
Saying,
That's
off
true.
the bye. And, okay, at that point, the Commanders weren't good, but they weren't the Commanders of now. Like, Jaden Daniels was playing in that game, right? This was still Dan Quinn against the Seahawks, and it was in DC. Sam Darnold, 330 yards passing. JSN, 140 yards receiving. 4 different touchdown scores. So I'm excited to see, off the bye. Now's the time of year where you pull whatever out of the bag. You go to the back of the playbook. I'm excited to see what we do on offense going into this next round of the playoffs because with some extra time to cook, who knows? Maybe all these complaints we have about the offense will go away because we got plenty of time to figure it all out.
I hope that
Just saying.
theory's true. I will say we will be
That is a
playing
good
either the
point.
Rams or, probably most likely the Rams. So it won't be the Commanders' defense, but still, I mean, the bye, just like we all know, it's just more time to get rest.
Don't count the
And then
49ers out, man. It's not just going to be – they might win. They might go to Philly.
they might, yeah. I think most likely.
not
I mean,
coming.
most likely. I'm just saying most likely it'll be the Rams. I'm not counting them out for sure. Unless they play us, then I'm counting them out because they're not winning. They're not beating us. The Niners aren't beating us. But nonetheless, I mean, yeah. I honestly, that would be cool. I wonder if we got some tricks up our sleeve here, some plays that were like, we've been finally.
Well, if
waiting to unleash
dude,
these.
if you're Kubiak, why would you pull them out in the last couple of games? Because you're like, dude, we're winning games without scoring points anyway.
Yeah, actually, I don't
waste
want.
it right
Last
now?
time he did that was
games without
against
me
the
doing my
Buccaneers.
job anyway.
Yeah, fair.
The last time he did that shit was against the Buccaneers, and we fucking fumbled and lost the game. So actually don't do that.
I take it back. Let's win 13
I think
nothing.
we're good. Let's keep scoring 20 points and just like holding them
Yeah.
to less than 10. Actually,
Let's. Also, sorry, last point. Why is it the best play call to run it on 3rd and 15 plus now? I saw some tweet yesterday. It was like,
because it works.
dude, I don't know. This is me reading Twitter, not fact checking it, and it was like there's been 4 times in the NFL this year where it's
That's
been
true.
3rd and 15 or longer, and a team has elected to run the ball and converted, and the Seahawks are all 4. We're just built different.
Long range
Oh.
running.
I don't mean to be like Marcus Rashford here, but I did have this one coach. Okay,
Bro.
he told me 1 time as a fluke, 2 times as a coincidence, and 3 times as a pattern. So when that run happened the first time, we're like, okay, that's all luck. Kubiak, that's just all luck. And then it happens again, and then it happens a 3rd time. So
Across 2 different
Kubiak's
running
just the
backs
goat.
too. It wasn't
Yeah.
just K9.
You're
Sharp-
right.
Sharp's got one
Kubiak's-
too. So
Yeah,
it's like,
exact. Maybe Kubiak's just the GOAT. And he just sees the vision that we don't see clearly.
Or maybe
Yeah.
we're just not used to being able to run the ball effectively from an offensive play calling standpoint.
also
Right?
a good call.
Right? Right?
Fair enough.
All right.
Okay,
Well,
we got more to cover. The Seattle Kraken are back. They are back. They are the streakiest team in hockey. I will give them that award. We've been flirting giving them that award all season. They are back. They're on a heater. Jay Ross, take it away. What do you got?
Well, the Kraken are suddenly good at hockey. And like I said last episode, it's because we're getting goaltending and our defense has ramped it up. We figured out a way how to, limit high danger chances. And then Joey and Grubauer, honestly, both of them, I think the thing to notice about them is in hockey, the best goalies, yes, they'll get their shutouts and they'll make a lot of saves. But more than anything else, it's about making the timely save where I don't care if the score is 4-4. With 30 seconds left, he'll make that big save. And Decord and Grubauer have both found a way to do that. I will say, the Kraken, we are so lucky to play in far and away all of a sudden the worst division in hockey. I don't know where it came from, which actually I do. It's because, like we said earlier, a lot of our division is young and consistent besides the Oilers and the Knights. And the Oilers have not won 3 games in a row yet this year. Crazy fact. But
That's nuts.
there is not a single team in our division that would be in a playoff spot if they're in the Eastern Conference. There is not a single team in our division. And we are currently in a wild card spot. So I'm trying to limit how excited I am right now because we are on an absolute heater. But even then, when we're filming this, most recent game was that win in Vancouver. We went on to win the game in a shootout, but we had already won the game in overtime. Vince Dunn went down and scored, and they called interference on Berkeley Catton, which was the biggest BS call ever. Catton laid the puck off to Dunn and went and scored. Catton wasn't even looking at Elias Pettersson, and he flopped worse than any soccer player I've seen in my life. And I came from covering Sounders. I've watched every Sounders game since 2009, and it was the most pathetic get in the pool moment ever. I've never been so pissed off at a referee, not only to make that call, but to have that take away the game-winning goal and put them on a power play in overtime in a quote-unquote rivalry game. Because it's not a real rivalry yet. I do not care. But Decord came up with the big saves. Our penalty kill came up big. Ryan Lindgren, stud, took a puck to the face and walked it off like it was nothing. certified bag of nails, and that's what our whole team is. We're kind of getting back to our identity that we were when we went on that playoff run where we beat the Avs, not a big deal, where we just have 4 second to second and a half lines, a bunch of guys who are going to be true grinders. But along with all of this, I'm not fully convinced by the Kraken, because if you look at the underlying stats, we are last in the league in goals scored and expected goals scored. We're expected to have scored 65 goals. We have scored 62. The cool part about that is we are third in the league in goals against. We've only given up 62 goals. So that is definitely playoff hockey. That is that. Are you seeing something different?
I was just looking at when you were talking about that, because that was the point that I was going to make, is looking at the Western Conference when you said it was so weak. There's only 4 teams with a positive goal differential. There's obviously the Avalanche running away with it with 72. That also leads the NHL by a wide margin. But you go ahead and look at the Kraken, which are 7th in the West overall. If you're just looking at straight up Western Conference.
Yeah.
They have scored 103 goals for as opposed to 115 goals against, which is a point differential of -12, which still isn't that great. But, well, yeah, and I do want to add, too, as I'm just taking a look at the standings and a couple different metrics here. I mean, the fact that the West is separated by 1.5 points and a point in most of the positions, I do see that the Kraken could, if they sustain the streakiness, they could sneak into the playoffs. Here's a huge reason why I do think that. Their home record is 9-7-4, and their record on the road is 9-7-3. So they are consistently mid if you want to like even it out over the huge losing streak and the 2 bigger winning streaks. But they're able to go on the road, be road dogs, and consistently handle it at home as well. So I think that's going to be a huge difference here. Looking at those goal differentials, a -12 isn't bad in the West. There's, St. Louis Blues are just below us with a -39. Somehow the Utah Mammoth are even worse than them, and they have a +5 goal differential. So the Kraken can take advantage of a weak Western Conference and sneak into the playoffs, but it's all going to be, do we want to actually do that? What would our success look like in the playoffs? And is there more value in selling off the veteran pieces toward the deadline?
So, also going back on my stat earlier, I didn't preface it. That was all 5-on-5. So all those stats were, in terms of 62 is 5-on-5. The Kraken are actually weirdly crazy high up in the league in basically all other situations. So empty net goals, bunch of stuff with 19. And then our power play has been kind of But in terms of 5-on-5, that's where we're winning these games. Our special teams have became doable. Our penalty kill especially has ramped it up. We're in the big moments. We're getting big plays. But at the end of the day, who's the most important penalty killer? Your goaltender. And so I'm going to keep going back to it. Decord and Grubauer have upped their level, and that's a big reason why we are seeing this huge step up in the Kraken's level of play. But, Fatty, I'll ask you this. We're slowly approaching trade deadline time. We're slowly approaching the break for the Olympics. Now that the Kraken are kind of teetering back and forth on if they're going to make the playoffs, does our mindset change in terms of if we want to sell guys?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess now that we're approaching the trade deadline, I really think, what are our expiring contracts and who would be big names to trade? Obviously, we do have some expiring contracts. We don't necessarily, outside of Grubauer, have a legitimate bad contract. So in a weak West where we might not be the worst seed and have to play Colorado the first round of the playoffs, I guess we might just run it out. We might ride it out because remind me the expiring contracts here, J. Ross. Who are we looking at? Is it Eberle and then
it's all the old guys, really, which I honestly, where I'm at, I don't think I want to trade Eberle because I've said it before. Last time we named a captain, it was Giordano. We traded him at the deadline.
All right.
I don't know what I think. Just hockey's such a
but
team
that's
sport
just the foundational pieces of an expansion team.
But if we do it again, where we name Ebbs the captain and then immediately trade him, I just don't think that's a good look on the
Which
team.
Which makes me think that Kraken might want to ride it out because maybe we get a first-round win in the playoffs. We go into the second round. Then worst case, those guys walk. You get their money off the books. You still have a lot of draft capital, and you're able to spend and get some foundational pieces like they have Montour, and just more contribute to the future. So I guess maybe there isn't a necessary point to sell because we aren't a glaring last place team. And hopefully then the Kraken can just stay afloat and hopefully not get that last seed in the West, because I think the Colorado Avalanche are going to run away with the Stanley Cup the way they've been playing this season. So,
I don't know though, dude, because we've seen it before. Teams that seem like they're running away with it. We saw it the Lightning, however many years ago, get swept by the Blue Jackets, and they were supposed to run away with it. Hockey's just such a random sport where, we proved it when we played the Avalanche. Literally 0 people, most Kraken fans, did not think we had any hope in winning that series, and we were able to pull off the upset. And so
we were a better built team then than we are right now, though. Let's be real.
I don't know, because in that series, what won is that series? Grubauer got hot.
Yeah, true.
And we've proven right now that's the recipe where goaltending gets hot. Who knows what can happen? And I think the one thing this team can do is if an offer is out there to get a goal scorer, I think we go and get it. Jordan Kyrie's been a name that's kind of teased out in the media. Apparently, we tried to get him at draft night, and we kind of opted away from it.
Okay.
He's not having the best. He's honestly having a pretty bad year up to his standards. But
so maybe that means the value goes down, low risk.
And his contract is honestly not that bad. It shrinks as the contract goes on, and we've seen us take on guys like this before. We took on a Kakko, and he's performed better here. We've went and claimed a guy like Ellie Tolvanen off of waivers. Like, we've been willing to go pick up these talented guys who haven't been able to fit in on their teams. That's a name that I'd really be watching. I think that'd be awesome for the Kraken to hold on to. But honestly, I think we kind of just got to enjoy this while we can. Like, we just got to enjoy being able to open the NHL app and see us in a playoff spot, because you already said it, the Kraken go back and forth like weekly. So,
and then also like the players that you would trade that are on expiring deals, like, first of all, what are you even going to get for them in a trade? Like, is it players that you're going to warrant like serious capital? And then if like you do decide to trade them, like, is it really worth it? Would you rather have what you get from those players when they could help propel you to a playoff spot and make a hopefully somewhat of a playoff run? Is it worth it to trade it for whatever you're going to get for them?
The problem is some of the guys that have been teased around online, like you see Eberle, like we said, but a Schwartz or a McCann, they've had injury problems this year. So it definitely hurts their value too. It's like, are we going to get what we got when we flip Bjorkstrand and Yanni Gord? I don't know if we get that.
I mean, their deals are expiring, so like you already have no leverage there. And then, like you said, the injuries and other stuff. Like,
hockey's a little different. Like, rentals is much more of a thing in hockey, I think, than a lot of other of the big sports in the U.S., where trade deadline still is a thing, and albeit it is dying off because people are signing these big tickets now. I think the one name that we could get actual like wanted draft capital is Alexiak, because Alexiak is a playoff type of guy who you have him on your third D pairing for a cup winning team, and he goes and throws the body around because he's a huge human being. But outside of that, I mean, I don't know if we get what we want for McCann in terms of, I don't know if we get draft picks that warrant what we know we can get from McCann. McCann at times has been our best goal scorer, and Jaden Schwartz has just kind of been in and out of the lineup where I don't think we get much for him.
And the reason why I was going to say sell is just the streakiness of the team and how low that, that 10-game losing streak, or 10 out of 11 was. So I would say as long as the Kraken can avoid losing to that magnitude, I think they should just hold pat and see what this team can do. Maybe it's a first, a first round exit, second round exit. Maybe we make it all the way and win the whole fucking thing. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, like, last thing, I mean, our whole division is like that. Like I said, the Oilers have not won 3 games in a row. I don't know how that happens, but okay, whatever. And beyond that, the Vegas will probably figure themselves out and get good because they're Vegas. But I mean, Anaheim, young team, right now they're on a down and they're built to be streaky. The Kings are kind of in the middle of that too. The Sharks are all entirely a young core. I mean, our whole division is streaky like that, so we just have to be on a slightly better streak than all the California teams, which, by the way, the Seattle Kraken own the state of California. But I will end on that. The Kraken are on up. Let's enjoy it while it's last, but let's not get too attached to it.
Okay, well, how about you go ahead and highlight some Olympic success and some, I guess, maybe potentially World Junior success?
We can go ahead and do that. Let's shout out Capo Kakko, Ellie Tolvanen. They will both make the Finland team for the Olympics, which is pretty sweet.
Finland.
They will be repping the Kraken over in Milan if that happens. I don't know if you saw that, but there is currently not a rank to play on, so that's pretty cool. They made the rink the wrong size, and now that's a bunch of problems. There were photos tweeted out of the stadium just not being done. So cool. We'll see if that actually happens. But I mean, it'll be cool to see the Kraken play over there. Finland is definitely multiple steps behind Sweden, US, and Canada. But I mean, who knows? These games are crazy. And speaking of Finland knocking off one of the big teams, World Juniors this past weekend. My heart was broken. All other Americans, actually only 3% of America, because you can only watch it on NHL Network in the US. Awesome. But we lost in overtime to Finland off of it was actually 2 assists from local team Everett Silvertips. But
Hell yeah, brother.
Julius Miettinen, Kraken prospect, was able to get the secondary assist on the game-winning goal. But, I mean, he's wearing the A for Finland, so that's pretty sweet. Having seen him in person quite a bit as he plays for the Everett Silvertips, he's a stud, and I'm excited to see what he turns into. Beyond that, playing for Czechia, another one of our prospects who's playing in the OHL right now. I apologize for pronouncing his last name, but Jakub Fabiger is tearing it up. A goal and an assist. He's a huge offensive two-way defenseman. Goal and an assist in Czechia's win over Switzerland, sorry. They are now playing Canada as we speak. So I have no faith in them still being in the tournament by the time we are done filming this episode. But shout out him for getting some more hype for the Kraken prospect pool. We also had one of our goalies was playing, but he's the backup for Finland, so he's not in the game. And then we got one other guy who's playing, but didn't really make any notes. But shout out those two for making their mark on the world stage. And I don't know, could be 2 guys to see. Miettinen, he'll probably be in the AHL pretty soon. And then, I mean, Kraken, our back end's pretty good right now, so I don't see anyone else getting called up there. But I think it's time that we can move into the next segment, which will be replacing On Fire and On Ice, boys. I think we should go through and talk about our New Year's resolutions for every team in Seattle. Brody, let's start with the Sounders. We haven't talked about them a lot. We'll start in Seattle. We have our New Year's resolution on the Google Doc we're all staring at, but I'll let you take it away. You can go wherever you want with it if you want to change it. What's your New Year's resolution for the Sounders?
Yeah, I saw the suggestion, and this kind of just fits into what I wanted to say anyways. My New Year's resolution for the Sounders is to just make a ballsy move. Make a ballsy move. And it's sad because obviously we originally wrote down make a summer signing. And it's sad that this is now considered a ballsy move for the Sounders because it's been, 4 straight summers without a signing for the Sounders? Yeah.
Since 2021.
But if the season keeps going, Jordan Morris is playing like a bum still. Make a ballsy move. Cut him. Literally cut him. Free up a DP spot. Something like that. You know what I mean? If there's if you're scouting a young player, U22 player, and you really think they're good, but maybe they're just like a little out of the... Spend some fucking money, have some balls, and make the ballsy move. Yes, maybe they don't hit the ground running right away. But if you're confident in your scouting team, you think you got a really good guy, you think he fits in the system well, you think he's talented, and you trust your team around him, and have some fucking balls and make the move. That's what I want to see from the Sounders. Like I said, I said previously in the podcast, you need to have role guys. You need to have role players, of course, and I will always stand on that. Championship team is built with an amazing supporting cast of role players. But there's also, you can't have an entire team of those guys, man. You can't have an entire team of just role players, otherwise you're not going to win anything. Anything of significance anyway. And it just seems like the last several windows, the Sounders have just made nice moves. It could really 6 out of 10 moves is what you would call them. 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Role player guys, bench guys, or starters, but not like these high potential impact starters, I want the Sounders to have some balls, man. Yeah, Jordan Morris is from Seattle. Cut him if he's ass. Cut him. Seriously. Why don't we just grow a pair of balls and just make a ballsy move that could potentially change the trajectory of our season to winning the MLS Cup.
So
That's my resolution.
Who would give me some examples or some people who might not be following the MLS free agency or transactions? Who comes to mind?
Well, I'll take this. Basically, there's two major windows in MLS. There's one we're in right now, and there's one in the summer. The Sounders have not made a summer signing in 4 years. It'll be 5 by the time this summer comes around. The Sounders, when we were winning and we were going to MLS Cups, that was our thing. That was our MO. When we won in 2016, we went and bought Nico Ladero. We went and brought in all these names in the summer, and it was kind of we'd always let Garth Lagerwey, cook in the summer.
Well, I don't want to just cut you off real quick. Not only did we sign Nico Ladero, we sold Obafemi Martins, who was literally like one of the Sounders' best ever
player in this hemisphere.
He was the best player in the MLS. Like when we sold him, he was one of the best players in the MLS. We haven't had a player like quite like that since Prime Ladero, Prime Raul, and we sold him out of the middle of nowhere, and everyone's outraged. But you got an offer you couldn't refuse. You had some balls. You sold Obafemi Martins. You had a vision in mind, and you executed it, and you built a dynasty. Yeah. Like, it's stuff like that. Moves that are able to be made like that, where just have some balls, man, and try. And just try and make a move that can change the trajectory of the franchise.
And so,
anyways, continue.
To answer your question, Fatty, I will just say to not bring in the run-of-the-road, basic MLS signing. I love Jesus Ferreira. I like Hassani Dotson. I want to see the Sounders go bring in a name. I don't care if he's from Europe. I don't care if it's someone from South America. Someone who is different. Someone who is taking a risk. Someone who, when you look up their Wikipedia page, they do not have TAM, sub-TAM, 100 games played in the MLS. That's what we've been looking at. I want us to go and splash a name where you might have to Google it, and when you click Wikipedia, you say, wow. Something like that. Kraken, still calling that. The Sounders have not had that recently, and that's what I would love to see from this team. So I don't even want to throw a name out because Griezmann, that'd be sweet, but I don't think that's realistic.
I think it could be realistic. I don't know at this time in Griezmann's career, but I mean, if you want to add some local ties to it, Julio Rodriguez and Antoine Griezmann have been friends since. They've been like best pals. Speaking of J-Rod was also friends with Alphonso Davies, right?
That's actually
they're Eskimo brothers. My bad.
Oh,
my bad, brother. All right.
Another reason why Seattle over Whitecaps. Just putting that out there. We always win in the end. Keep going.
Resolution for the Seahawks. I think it's clear. They've achieved so much, and to hold them at such a high standard. I mean, J. Ross has won a Super Bowl on here. I would say that to put the icing on the cake of a wonderful season. My New Year's resolution for the Seahawks is to spend their offseason properly, where in the draft, in the offseason, in free agency, spend the cap space on valuable guys and sustain the success. But J. Ross, I mean, you put Super Bowl. I agree.
Go win a Super Bowl. Go win a Super Bowl. You got 14 wins.
But build a sustainable. Don't spend money. Don't think you can, don't still draft like you need it. Draft for need, not best available, and sustain the success. I would love to see another dominant period for the Seahawks in the NFL and not just be a flash in the pan. So that I agree with you, but also be consistent. It is the new year. We're going to have a lot more football in March and April to decide. So that would be for me. But Brody, what do you think?
Well, I'm not going to let you go just yet. So we got your Seahawks resolution, but what about the Mariners? You got anything for the Mariners?
Well, did you have anything for the Seahawks?
For the Seahawks, for me, honestly, it's just
win the ball.
It's just execute on the simple things. What I mean by that is, like, for example,
win the fucking Super Bowl. Simple.
Yeah, 100%.
Just
that's all it is. Okay, move on.
What are we doing? What are we even talking about? Just go to the bowl and win the game, and then cool. Yeah. No, just when you're driving down on the Niners and you get all the way to their goal line, run the ball. Just run the ball. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Just keep it simple. Jason Myers, when you're 30 yards out, make the field goal. You know what I mean? Just make it. And that is like not. We were joking about that Super Bowl thing. I'm not joking.
That's how you win the Super Bowl. We'd win the Super Bowl if we just do those things.
Shoot yourself in the foot. Win the divisional and then win the
Do
NFC.
this stuff. No more elementary school stuff. Hey, Tariq Woolen, week 1. I'm not. I don't want to bring this up again. When the ball's in the air, don't do a 2K rebound animation like this.
Devin did that last night, though. Devin did that last night.
Yeah, just like do the simple things. This team is doing the simple things away from just literally winning the Super Bowl. Sure, that's what else do we need? We make big time plays. We make extraordinary plays. The only thing that's kind of shooting us in the foot is, dude, if you're getting blitzed, Sam Darnold, and you feel like you have to force a pass, hey, just take the sack, buddy. Just take the sack. It's okay. We'll live to see another day. Now, don't throw the ball into triple coverage and throw a pick and put us, in a giant hole. Don't do that. Right. Do the simple stuff.
I will say, unless we're
win the ball,
unless we're running a play action at the 1 yard line, and you're like, maybe throw it out of the back of the end zone. Don't take like a 13-yard sack.
Maybe just dare to get to the line of scrimmage. Don't call a play action pass on the 1.
Or how about that? Better yet, just run the ball. Like I said, to bring it full circle,
just
run the ball.
Run the ball.
Audible out of it. Shake the hands. Be like, fuck this.
Kill. Run the ball.
Kill it. Robbie outs. You getting this pill and just okay. For the Mariners, there's not a lot for me to elaborate on. Pitchers and catchers report in a month and a half. My resolution for them is just to find the final piece to the puzzle. There's been a lot of different spending from different teams. They're throwing a lot of money. The Blue Jays signed Kazuma Okamoto for 4 years, $60 million. Tatsuya Imai shocked the world by signing with the Astros, but they don't need to panic. And I think the Mariners are reluctant to overpay for people like Brendan Donovan and spend and make a bad deal out of any of the remaining free agents. They need to find the final piece of the puzzle, whether it be internally, whether it be another value signing like Rob Refschneider. There's not a lot for them to do. There's not a lot to overthink about. They just need to field the team in spring injury-free and let it happen. And if we need to make adjustments, they've proven to make that during the trade deadline. So my resolution is just to find the final piece of the puzzle, whether it be an external player or just committing to Cole Young, Colt Emerson, Ben Williamson, whoever it may be.
I actually got a Mariners resolution here.
Sure.
I stumbled across the MLB Instagram page, and they already did their early season award predictions.
I did see that.
Yeah. Despite having the MVP who shouldn't have won, Aaron Judge, and despite having on his own team the actual MVP, Cal Raleigh, the AL MVP prediction for them was Julio Rodriguez. So my New Year's resolution is, Julio, in the first few months of the season, can we hit the damn ball?
You know what I'm saying? True.
Can we hit the ball for a full season? That's really my only resolution. I mean, you already covered what we need. Just fill in, the rest of the parts that we need. But can we see a full season of Julio Rodriguez MVP play? Because good golly, fellas, we've been dying for it.
Yeah, that's true. We were spoiled with the Cal Raleigh season, but it would be nice to see what a whole year of effective at the plate Julio Rodriguez could
imagine a full MLB season of Cal Raleigh playing like Cal Raleigh last year and Julio a full year of that.
And our rotation being the best in baseball. I mean, we can't have it all, so baseball's a long season.
We can. Why can't we? The Dodgers do. Why can't we?
Yeah.
Okay, wrap it up with the Kraken. Then I got one more note before we sign off on the subject. Went a little longer than I thought, but it's a good one. It's a lot to celebrate.
Well, we already talked about it enough, so we'll say it quick. New Year's resolution for the Kraken. There's two options. If we start stinking it up, I want a full sale. Whatever. If we start playing good, like I said earlier, I want us to bring in a true goal scorer. I just want us to commit to one of the two options. If we stink. If we're good, let's go be good. I've already said Kyrou, but go get a guy who can put the puck in the net if we're still in a playoff spot. If we start sinking, do what we can to try to help for next year and get stuck out of the worst spot in sports, especially NHL, which is just outside the playoffs. It's the worst place to be. So either be a dumpster fire or give the Kraken playoff hockey again. My resolution.
Let's go. To wrap up the show, I want to end on this note, this awesome, amazing celebratory point. This is the most successful season of Seattle sports history, with the Mariners winning the AL West and the Seahawks winning the NFC West yet again. This is the first time in 50 years as a franchise they did it together, so props to them. The Sounders have been the most probably consistent winning franchise in Seattle.
We can throw a Leagues Cup in there. Let's throw our Sounders and a Leagues Cup in there.
Against Messi, by the way. Against the GOAT.
Right. Seattle Storm made it. Dude, we're going to have to start covering the Storm we're going to have to start covering the Storm. But they made it to the semifinals of the WNBA playoffs. And once again, entering 2026, Adam Silver did flirt with finally making a final call on the expansion. We've been waiting so long. And hopefully Adam Silver looks at this maybe at the Super Bowl parade or at a World Series parade and says, this city deserves a basketball team again. But an absolutely remarkable time to be alive for a Seattle sports fan, and I just cannot be more happier.
Let's throw two more things in there, too. I mean, Kraken, who knows? If we make the playoffs, that could be pretty hype, too. But also, Seattle got a women's hockey team, too. So that's pretty sweet.
The Torrents.
So this is like the best, but also the most monumental year, arguably.
We're turning into a title town if we just need to win the titles. But we're turning.
We didn't win the League's Cup. We did win, so we're on our way.
Yeah, that's true. Like, dude, like people in Boston are like, with the Red Sox and the Patriots, be like, first time, little bro, and we're like, yeah, first time.
Yeah,
yay, lollipop. Florida. I don't know.
Well, technically, actually, in 2014, the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, and we won Supporters Shield, technically, for the Sounders. So
good pull.
And the Mariners,
good pull. How'd the Mariners do?
Just over 500. So that was a great time to be alive. That was a win at that point in time.
Nonetheless, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode, enjoyed us yapping. Boys, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe. We're still grinding. We're still covering the new title town of the West Coast. And by title, we mean don't worry about it. Nonetheless,
first order of business, I got the webcam. So all of you haters, we do have a couple haters on TikTok, on Instagram. We got a couple haters. I'm getting a freaking webcam. It will be here tomorrow, next episode. Internal haters and external haters, or we got some TikTok haters, so they can keep sucking it, and we're gonna keep grinding as a podcast. This is the year of Sound on Sports.
Speaking of, follow us on TikTok. You see it going across the screen this whole video. Follow us on TikTok, on X. The Instagram is up and running, boys. We're also on Spotify. Follow us, subscribe, all the platforms. Leave a like. We'll be back next week. We'll be previewing the Seahawks playoffs. We'll be talking about how the Kraken probably lost. Just kidding. We'll still be in the playoff run and much more. But nonetheless, we'll see you guys next week.